Hello, welcome to ReactJS video series, and in this video I'm going to talk about ref in ReactJS, like how to use ref and what exactly the way to use ref in ReactJS here. So before jump to the code, I just give you a brief about ref. Okay, so ref in ReactJS. Ref basically provide a way to access a DOM node or React element that is created inside the render method. Generally, we use ref when the interaction cannot be achievable using state and props, because as per the React guidelines, ref is not a correct way or good way to use it. You may not use ref attribute or functional component because they don't have instance. If you want to use ref, then you just convert your functional component to the class and you can use ref into it. So in React, basically we have a three major way to use a ref. The first one is a string ref that is deprecated in the latest version, like in React 16.3 onwards we cannot use the string ref. The second one is a callback ref, still we can use this one. And the third one, and that is the new one, is a createRef. So createRef API introduced in React 16.3 version, and if you are using earlier release of React, we recommend to use callback ref instead of string ref. So string ref, the first one is you just import the React DOM from the React DOM npm module, and then you can simply define the ref and the property name like first name, last name, age, gender, whatever. And the third step, how we can get the information from that element, just like input element, we can use the React DOM what you already created here dot find DOM node, and then you can pass this dot refs dot the first name, and the first name, that is the property what we already defined in the input tag first name, and then the dot value. So once you create, you can get it the value. The second one is a callback ref. In the callback ref is defined as an inline function. It will get called twice during update, first with a null and then again the DOM element. This is because first time we create an instance of that function is created. Every time whenever we are rendering, we are creating the instance. Every time the new instance will create. So React need to clear the old ref and set up the new one. So that's why it always happens twice. You can avoid by defining the ref callback. Okay, so step is here only two step. Simply you can define like input tag ref, and then you provide the callback like this. Well, this is the user defined. You can use whatever you want here. I just put val this dot first name, and whatever value is there for this input value, we just put it here, and that's it. And the second step, to get the value from that input, you can use simply this dot first name dot value, and you can get the value. So callback ref is easiest way, and it's not deprecated basically. The third and new one is createRef. To use the createRef, we just follow the few steps what I mentioned here. The first step is just use the ref property here, like input any element, input ref this dot first name, and if you have like another input like this dot last name or something. The second step is inside the constructor we need to define the createRef. So like first this dot first name equal to react dot createRef, that is our first name. If you have one more element for last name, just define the same way this dot last name equal to react dot createRef, and you have many more, then just define all the things here inside the constructor. And then to get the value from the element, we are using this dot first name dot current dot value. So this is the way how you get the value from that element. Don't overuse ref basically, because as per the React documentation, that is not a good practice to use here. Okay, and string ref already deprecated, as I said, Okay, and callback ref is preferred one, but the React 16.3 version onwards we can use, we have one more option, that is the createRef. When to use basically the ref, because unnecessarily don't use ref if you can do it using state and props. So basically we use state and props, but yes, the few places where we need ref. The first one is like managing focus on any element, text selection, media playback, or some animation kind of effect. And the third one is whenever we are doing interaction with a like third party DOM library like highchart, D3 or something. So on that purpose basically where the ref is useful. Otherwise we mostly prefer to use state and props. Okay, so I'm just going to demonstrate you all this way what I discussed, like string ref, callback ref, and create ref in my code example. So if you see here, I have app.js component here. Okay, here I just use the constructor that is by default, we have put it here, click handler, and then I have the input type text. Now I'm just going to use the first one is string ref. So for string ref, the first step we need to use ref, and here I just need to define the name like first name. Okay, the second step, I told you just import React DOM. Okay, I already did it. And the third step is to get the values from this DOM. So I'm just going to use here const first name. I told you, right, we can use the React DOM dot find DOM node. Okay, and then inside that we have to pass this dot refs dot first name dot value. And I'm just trying to console this first name, and let's see what's going on here. Okay, so this is recompiling is going on. Okay, it's done. I just clear it out, and I just put Brajesh and click here. Perfect, we can get Brajesh. The same thing is happening if suppose I have one more input box, or if is there any other element, just simply use ref, and that is last name. Then we can use the same thing here. Okay, and last name. Okay, and I just use the first name and last name. I just recompile the code, and let's see what's going on here. So that is the example of string ref. So I'm just going to use Brajesh Kumar, and I click here. Oops, value of null. Oh, sorry, I just missed the name. Okay, so again it's recompiling. Okay, system a little bit slow. Okay, so if I'm going to input here Brajesh and Kumar, click here, you can see Brajesh Kumar in a console. So this is the first way, that is the string ref, to use ref. The second one is callback ref. Okay, so callback ref, basically we don't need a React DOM. Okay, so Okay, and here a little bit change. The parameter is same, but here we are doing a little bit change, like this. We can use I just use val. Okay, and I use this dot first name equal to val. That's it. The same thing we're doing here. Okay, value val, this dot last name val, and here I'm just going to print this dot first name dot value, this dot last name dot value. Okay, okay, so I just compile again. Okay, comparison successful. Now I'm going to give Bridges and click here. Perfect. So when I click here, you can see I just simply provide the callback like val, and then first name we assign the value, and the last name we assign the value, and we just console it simply. So this is the example of callback ref. So callback ref, we don't need React DOM anymore. The third one and the new one is createRef. Okay, so in createRef we have some additional things here. So we don't need this thing here. We simply use this dot first name, this dot last name. So we just define ref like this, and then here I just define this dot first name equal to react dot createRef. The same thing we can add it for the last name too. Okay, and here this one example basically showing for the createRef. Here a little bit change. Instead of getting values from this dot first name dot value, we just use dot current value. So again the recompilation is going on. Okay, perfect. Okay, so this is the example, the third example to use ref using createRef. Again I'm just going to input Brajesh Kumar and click on. You can see here Brajesh Kumar. So this one is the third one, like how to use createRef. So we have three ways basically to use ref: string, callback, and createRef.